Okay, so welcome. You are here for the Monday morning mindset. Monday. So, as I give you my endless mantra about Monday, let's not let Mondays happen to us. Let's take precedence in making Monday as effective and consciously focused as Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or any other day that you work hard. Okay. It's important that you spend some good time either over the weekend or late on your Friday or even early morning on Monday to make sure that you feel as planned for Monday as you do any other day of the week to make it as effective as you can. So we are getting so close to the end of the year now, getting closer to the holidays, and I like to talk a little bit more about a certain perspective as we get into this contemplative time where we're spending time with our families and looking at kind of recharging the batteries a little bit. First and foremost, everyone knows, at least from my previous mindset, so there's a certain week that I challenge you guys to amplify your perspective. Work hard on your plans for next year, and that's the week between Christmas and New Year's. Spend the time with your families on Christmas and New Year's. Of course, if you believe in that or celebrate any of those things, so it's important to recharge. But man, really take that week before that year starts to get all your New Year's resolutions in place and everything else really organized. So Monday, what is the subject matter for today? Everybody take a pen and a piece of paper and plan to take some of the things that we talk about today and see what you can't do to integrate it into the things you're planning to do today so that we can keep our mind set and actually do something of value today together. Okay, so take about 10 minutes after we're done talking and write a few things down, see how this can be integrated. So what is today's subject? Today's subject is stay fascinated, explore. Okay, so stay fascinated and explore. Let me tell you a little bit about this. So I've been working a lot on new training for my company that I run, for Epic Life. And we've constantly calibrated this training to be more specific and in my opinion, more professionally set to help the distributors move quicker, to earn faster, to learn in a better and more practical way. But I can tell you that sometimes when you get caught up in those gears and you're working on the same thing over and over and you're trying to specialize it, you're trying to look at it from as many angles as you can kind of get caught up in that narrow reality tunnel a little bit. And that happened to me over the course of really the last several days. And so as part of the things that I did, of course, I continued to work as much as I could. I decided to kick back a little bit and do some research. And I love doing research. I love learning about new things. And a lot of times it's related to the sciences that are associated to the company that I run, but it's also just in general. Like for example, quantum mechanics just absolutely fascinates me. That's one subject. And I'm not a physicist, but there's a tremendous amount of information out there that helps people like myself that are not physicists understand how quantum mechanics works, quantum physics. And so spent a lot of time this weekend researching that, researching photons. In fact, we have an incredible technology in our company called far infrared that actually emits photons. And so I started studying and researching. And let me tell you something I found that I did not read this anywhere before this last weekend. And that's that our DNA, right, our actual blueprint of the entirety of what we have become from the very beginning of our zygote to all the cell division that's created us as humans and all things that have that DNA imprint actually have a process that happens at the level of the DNA itself where the DNA will coil over 1 billion times a second. And it produces within that coiling and at those billion times of doing this a photon. And a photon is an actual particle of light or wave of light. It's hard to say what light is. One of the biggest arguments in quantum mechanics is that light especially has this duality. And so this coiling of our DNA produces light. And the DNA that we have is foundational to everything that we are. And at its core functionality, it's actually producing a photon. This is scientific proof. And that light is thereby used to communicate between cells in our system. In other words, most likely, most directly with the nervous system. But again, I'm not a scientist, and I haven't studied enough to really say that completely. All I know is that it fascinates me to no end to think that our DNA coils over 1 billion times a second and produces light. That's within our biophysical field, within ourselves, right? And if that's happening, we're literally producing these biophotons at an incredible rate. And that it is light within our DNA that is actually communicating information from our DNA, our blueprint, to the rest of the cellular structure of our entire atomic structure. That's incredible to me. That's something that just fascinates me. All right, it really opened my mind, and I was looking at things in such a different view, and I started looking up other stuff that fascinate me too. The fact that color is actually a point of what reflects the most of an object. That's in other words, when you see red, it's because that object absorbs all other color but reflects red. And then I started going into things about why the sky is blue, and I tell you, I went on this whole journey that ended with me watching a video for about an hour about quantum mechanics and our neurological processes and the way we think. My point is that 20-30 minutes before that, I was really grinding my gears. I was writing out sentences and overanalyzing those sentences, really trying to figure out in my mind if they were structured the way that they should be for the training of the people that are joining my company to really find value, be able to take action on quickly. And so when I went into this other mode, right, and I allowed myself to be intrigued, to research and to be fascinated, my mind expanded its potential into that point of imagining. And what we don't realize sometimes is it's that potential point of imagining that is where we need to live, even when we're doing things like creating training or going granular in developing a process. When I went back and started working on my training again, I tell you something, I was able to break through some of the things I was kind of stuck in. Let's just say I had some periodic writer's block around certain perspective of whether or not this style of training or that style of training would be best at whatever periodic point I was creating this training on. But when I came back to it, I saw things so much clearly. Or clearer. And it's because I allowed myself to kind of take this little journey for, let's say, this 45 minutes that I took, and then that hour of watching that video. I took a 2-hour break to a degree from what it was that was really mattering to me. I'll tell you something, I did a much better job when I came back to finishing those trainings. And here I am still, woke up this morning, and the first thing on my mind was the fascination of photons. Again, it fascinates me to no degree, that to no end, that our biophysical system at its very core blueprint is actually generating and creating light. And that light is used to actually communicate throughout the systems of our cellular structure. It's amazing to me. Fascinates me. So a lot of times we get really caught up in the chase, the struggle, and forget to change, to charge our imaginations, not change, but charge. We've got to charge them up. We got to get them full of color. We got to bring back that fascination, that stimulus that we get when things are so vividly in our minds and so incredible, right? So a lot of times we get really caught up in the chase, the struggle, and forget to charge our imaginations. Charge them up. Think about them like a battery. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're too caught up in the things that you're trying to do, recharge your imagination. Be fascinated. Research something. Let what other people have done take precedence in your mind, such as science or the things that, like I'll tell you, one of the best things you can do is look into the things that you're doing as a company and figure out what you can learn more about, okay? And that will help invigorate or and enlighten your mind. And it's important that you do that so that you keep it charged. Explore the science of marketing, of your products, of other subjects that fascinate you. Keep your mind fertile. Okay, if you're marketing and you're having a tough time kind of keeping focused, kick it back just a little bit. Take 10% of your time, 20% of your time, and learn something new. Even if it's not going to be fully and totally integrated as the things you learned before it, get a new angle on it. Okay, learn something new. Okay, that's one thing that I've really noticed with marketers that are incredibly good is no matter how many standards they have in place, they're always talking about something they just learned. Okay, and I'll tell you what it is they're keeping their imagination, their mind fertile. Okay, because they're opening themselves to the opportunities to be fascinated, to explore. Okay, it's important that you do that. Explore the science of marketing, of your products, of other subjects that fascinate you. Keep your mind fertile. Okay, now of course we say train yourself and learn your products and all these things. These are all good things, but when I say learn, think about it like this. I could tell you that Formula 22, one of our skincare products, is an incredible product, and that it reduces wrinkles up to 45% faster than most product. Gives you baby soft skin, all kinds of neat stuff. But if I was to explore the 22 or so ingredients that are associated to Formula 22 and start looking into them and into what other people have said about them, into the research around them, one of the things we talk about a lot is the coconut oil aspect of it. Well, I could go on an exploration of that on the internet for hours. Okay, so it's not just about that algorithmic research, study, and memorization, as much as that's important, but letting your mind expand, letting it see the incredible aspects of the things that you have at hand. Because when you go back to your work and you've been fascinated by the things that you're trying to accomplish, that energy is some of the most powerful to keep you focused, to keep you learning, to keep you going when things seem tough. Okay, fascination will break down other seemingly difficult tasks and breathe life back into your purpose. Feeling like you hit a dead end, feeling like you've been spinning circles, or you built a big team and nobody's active. All right, there's the big number one reason everybody quits. It's not because they couldn't get a few people, it's because they got a lot of people and nobody did anything. It's the second tier momentum that seems to really cut people up. And the reality is, when you get feeling that way, you're living in a narrow-minded condition. In other words, you're thinking about very specific negative things. This isn't working. My team's quitting. I can't do this. I thought I could do this. I can't. See, a very narrow, very unimaginative perspective. Stop for a minute and kick back. Don't be so concerned about time. Don't be so concerned about making things work for just a moment, and reinvigorate that imagination that you have. Reinstate that fascination. Look something up that you think is incredible. Take yourself down a path to where that color, that intensity, that dimension of your mind is able to expand itself without that requirement to produce results. Just let it be fascinated. Let it absorb. Okay, if you'll do that, it's just like recharging your batteries. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling like your business isn't doing exactly what it should do, take 30 minutes and explore something. Okay, don't take 30 minutes and take a nap on the floor. Okay, wake up feeling about the same way you did, maybe a little more rested. Realize you've got to keep your imagination fertile. You've got to keep it open, capable. Okay, so explore. We live in an incredible world at an incredible time. Now that's a fact. If I went back to the year 1915, 100 years ago, I grabbed somebody and I brought him here or her here. And I took them to the smallest town with the least amount of technology, let's just say even here in St. Anthony. And they spent 30 minutes to an hour just walking around, seeing the cars, people talking on cell phones, walking into a convenience store and seeing all the packaged goods that they have there. They would be blown away at what they were experiencing and seeing. We're so desensitized to how incredible our world has become that we don't even recognize that. But imagine that possibility. And I'm only talking about the base century input that someone would get if they came 100 years forward, or even if we jumped 100 years forward from now, thinking about it like that. Not the incredible science, the incredible progress in technology, and all the other things that this person from 100 years ago may learn over the course of 6 months of being here. Okay? We live in an incredible world at an incredible time. Believe that because it's true. Okay? Try to get past the media. A lot of us have a hard time with that. You know, we start exploring online, and the first thing we see is everybody's dying in all these countries and they're killing each other. You should always show support for peace and the welfare of mankind, but don't get so caught up in that media, because there are some other things going on here, folks, that is absolutely mind-bending. You know, subscribe to a couple scientific journals. There's a number of really good web pages as well as Facebook pages that have great and pertinent information. I subscribed to one. I remember it was, I think, about a year and a half ago, and I'm not sure if that's exactly how long ago, but I think it was about then. And they had photographed an atom. Besides knowing that they exist, being able to do a number of things with them because of their existence, obviously even electricity, right? The reality is they'd photographed one. No one had ever really taken a picture of one yet. And it was incredible to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a photograph of an atom. Use some kind of microscope and technology to actually to take a photograph. I thought that was incredible. But there's so much incredible stuff in this world. People that are taking on and trying new product that are being generated by companies that are making huge differences in their lives. Major research in almost every point of wellness medicine. So much stuff out there that to really kind of get into that point of fascination with and explore. Okay, take the time to do it. All right, you have to do it, because let me tell you something. When I came back and I sat down and I continued building my training, for the next 5 hours, I put together some of the best training I'd ever done. Okay, and it's like this. It's like I was going and going and going for days and days and days and days, and I had my engine going, and I was going and I was going and I was going. I kind of feel myself running out of gasoline. And I remember I was stuck on one sentence in a one paragraph on one page, and I couldn't get past it. And I just kind of laughed to myself, and I was like, my battery's out. You got to recharge that. You got to put some life back into that, some energy back into that. You got to do it. Okay, and you do that through exploration. You do that through allowing yourself to be fascinated by the things that are so incredible around us. Okay, we live in an incredible world at an incredible time. You got to believe that. Believe me, this is easy. So Monday, getting close to Christmas. A lot of you are already starting to travel to see family. A number of things from that perspective, and I can tell you, I challenge all of you again to recharge your batteries. Spend your time with your family. But that week, you'll never hear me stop talking about it till next year. That week between Christmas and New Year's, I'm going to be working. And I'm going to be right here with you guys. And I'm going to make this next year incredible. And when everybody's talking about their New Year's resolution in the middle of January, those of you here that are taking my advice are going to be like, what are you talking about? Man, I had that down before the ball dropped. I had that down before the fireworks went off, and I celebrated the new year, but I woke up and I was on my way. Okay, so Monday, write a few things down from our discussion. Spend some time today being fascinated, you know. You guys always end up seeing my calendar because I forget to shut it, and it goes off right at this point. So take some time today to be fascinated, to explore the things in your mind that you're looking to do with your life, and then go find good information around that. Okay? Go learn something new. Kick back and let yourself absorb something new. Stay fascinated, explore. All right, everyone, you have an incredible day. I will be back here tomorrow morning at the same time for the Morning Mindset on Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me.